Hi and welcome to XCAR's Roundup of the Year, where today we're talking about June, another action-packed month where we were looking at the Ford Heritage Shed, the Morgan Aero Coupe. We took a trip around the potential London F1 circuit and we had a look at the new Range Rover Sport. So the Ford Heritage Shed, guys.
Well,
Treasure trove.
This all comes from the Ford Fiesta ST launch. We spoke to the guys at Ford and said, we'd quite like to do a history piece on some of your cars. And I know they had a heritage shed because I've been there before and it's amazing.
That's usually a giveaway,
yeah.
if you've been there before.
we knew they had a shed, so I've been there. We went down with the camera and we were only supposed to go down there to make a shopping list. The camera was an afterthought.
We just brought a camera for fun because, I mean, there's just going to be, you know, things like, I love like 80s, Sierra Cosworth, Escort Cosworth. That's the kind of stuff that I loved when I was a kid. My family were Ford family, so Fiesta, Mondeo on the drive. So I sort of lusted after the Ford hot hatches. I mean, small dreams, but that's why I love the Fiesta ST so much. So going there and seeing everything from the Model T to the Ford GT next to each other was just, it was mad. And it was just so beautiful and it worked out really perfectly, I think.
It was one of those things where we're only supposed to get on there, maybe it's like, bring a camera, let's see what happens, might get something great out of it, might not. Not only did we make an awesome shopping list, more of which later in this series, but also we got a truly breathtaking film out of it, and that's all down to you spending a lot of time, really.
I could have spent days there. I mean, to be honest, I mean, they have everything from the. Well, I want to. I mean, they had everything from the super van to kind of just kind of the old Fords, like the Prefect, kind of like really kind of classic Fords. They had just everything. You name it, and they had it. It was a treasure trove. It was just. It was beautiful, and we want to drive everything there, and hopefully one day we will get to.
But moving on to one of, I think, potentially our biggest shoots of this year, the Morgan Aero Coupe.
Oh dear.
That's Alex's wet dream.
Yeah, it basically is my wet dream.
Is it a wet dream if it's actually happened? Isn't it then just a wet reality?
Well, I had to clean the Morgan up after him, so
wet reality.
Yeah, wet reality. It was up the walls, it was horrible. Every mile I loved it. I adore that thing. Its shape caused a stir everywhere. People couldn't quite understand what they were looking at. Whereas with the Supra, we got loads of reaction because everyone sort of knew it from the back of their mind, and absolutely everyone knew it. Whereas with the Morgan, they saw something that they genuinely had never seen before. Because Morgan's such a niche manufacturer, and because the previous car that looked like that, the Aeromax, there were 100 of those, and there's like 4 of them in the UK or something ridiculous like that. With the Aero Coupe, there were at that time 6 Aero Coupes ever.
I mean, Charles Morgan referred to it as automotive theatre in his interview, which is a phrase that I know you've loved and used throughout. And we took it through the West End and that kind of thing because Alex wanted to kind of show it visually as being automotive theatre, because it really is. I mean, it's very theatrical, and Charles always talked about people just standing there, you know, wanting to see it move and just seeing.
You don't believe that it can move.
Yeah,
it looks like a piece of art.
It does, and then it glides. It really does glide.
Well, it glides while also bellowing at you because the V8 in it, it's a 4.8 litre BMW Source V8 with 360, 370 brake horsepower. So not massive numbers, but what they've done is they've made it sing. It's got quad side exhaust, and it just a proper dirty V8 noise. And then when it goes on song, just the noise bounces off all the buildings. That's why London was such an amazing city to shoot it in, because you had this amazing juxtaposition between, well, the places we took it, amazing architecture, and then this car that looks like it should have been here only maybe 80, 90 years ago, and then the dirty noise that comes out of it. It was just.
I mean, there's some argument in the office which is the better looking car between the Aero Max and the Aero Coupe, the Aero Coupe obviously being the derivative from the Aero Max. I actually prefer the Aero Coupe. I mean, it's only really the back that's got a change to it. Personally, I prefer that look.
The Aero Max makes it look like the Batmobile for me. The Aero Max, that split window on the back.
Thing,
oh my God, that's just unbelievable.
At the same time, the one you could feasibly actually buy now, the Aero Coupe, so
I mean, it's fair to say that even if you want to buy one of these cars, it's almost impossible. And in fact, the last person to our knowledge to have bought one had to buy that car that we drove because they saw it in our film.
Actually, they've made one more since. There is another. There are now 7 in the world.
But they're made to order.
Yes.
And it takes about a year to build.
You'll have to wait quite a long time.
Sticking in London, actually, the London F1 circuit.
We knew the British Grand Prix was a few weeks away. We knew the circuit was proposed last year, so we thought, why not get a Caterham? They're a Formula 1 team after all, and drive it. Nick went around the circuit, and I sort of poodled around for fun, really.
I mean, a lot of cynics will say Santander did it for a kind of a press release for kind of publicity, but Bernie Ecclestone's been very keen on doing a London Grand Prix for a very long time. I mean, since the cars screeched up and down Regent Street, and it was 2004, and a quarter of a million people turned up. I mean, there is a huge audience for it, and city circuits are just hugely popular. Not necessarily with F1 anoraks who kind of see it as, I mean, for me, I love F1, and street circuits aren't the most fun. There's not much overtaking, but I mean, seeing F1 cars screech around Monaco is exciting enough. London, and seeing this actual track, which I don't think anyone had actually ever driven with the purpose of driving the Formula One track, as accurately as you could do, we did it, and it was just an unbelievable circuit. And we did it pretty much dead on the summer solstice, so we were there at 3 in the morning, and just Pall Mall, completely empty, nobody there. I mean, hearing that Caterham roar down the straight with all these Union Jacks coming at you, you'd be like, why can't they do this? It's the most iconic circuit on the F1 calendar, full stop, if it were to happen.
If it were real, yeah.
If it were real, like, street circuits go, London is one of the most iconic cities. I mean, New Jersey is obviously not going to happen next year now.
So let's do London instead.
Yay!
Yeah. Staying in Britain, we go from Caterham and the London F1 GP circuit to the Range Rover Sport.
We were invited down. We went to Wales to try the brand spanking new Range Rover Sport. They asked which one we wanted to drive, and naturally I said the one with the 5-litre supercharged V8 because...
Because 5-litre supercharged V8?
Pretty much, yeah. That thing is unbelievably fast. For its size, for its composure, for its height, then you nail it, and oh my, it's quick. It does everything, but it's smaller, a bit quicker, and it's more practical. If anything, it's a more sensible choice than the proper Range Rover. And yeah, it was awesome. I love it to bits.
That was our roundup of June. Please join us again tomorrow, where we'll be looking at July.